Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Hi again, it's Leanne, and here I am at the beach in Australia. As you can see, it's quite a nice view from where we're staying here. It's a beautiful spot. Something about water, isn't there, that it just gives you a sense of peace and serenity. And I look forward to that time, when I'm with God later on after we leave this earth. He talks about the river of life in heaven and walking beside the river that's clear as crystal. Sometimes you look out here and it's just amazing how clear the water is. Today's a little bit rough and windy, but sometimes you can almost see to the bottom of where the sand is at the bottom of the ocean, and it just does something to your soul when you see the clearness of the water and just how the waves just keep coming in and it goes on. Our lives finish here on earth, and some of us, it finishes sooner than others when you have a situation where one of you, if you're a spouse, one of you has a terminal diagnosis such as Gary has. That you start to think about life and death a little bit more, and you didn't really expect to have to think about it quite so soon, but you just realise that our life here is really very short and we really have to make it count, don't we? When people die, so many people, you go to so many funerals, and they say, oh, he's at a better place now, and he's looking down on us, and one day we'll see him again. Most of the people who I've found who say that don't even really believe in God. I mean, if you start to talk to them about anything to do with spiritual matters or God, they're not interested at all. They think you're crazy. I'm crazy if I start to talk about that. And yet it's quite acceptable and quite nice to say those kind of things. He's a star in heaven now, and we'll see him one day, and everything's going to be okay eventually. And I know it's a form of comfort. It is very comforting for those who are in attendance, but I think, really when you think about it all logically, it doesn't make sense, does it? To not believe in God, but to think there's a heaven where people go and they're just there somewhere and looking down on us and being cared for and loved. And to me, if you don't believe in God, well, when you die, that's the end. You're buried and that's it. That to me would make sense from someone who doesn't believe in God. But I'm really thankful that I have God in my life, and every day I feel him close to me. I know he's real, and I can feel his presence with me every single day. And even through trying times such as we're going through now, I feel his tremendous peace come upon me every day. And I know Gary feels it too. There's no fear or dread about death, and he knows death could happen at any time for him. And that, medically speaking, death is imminent for him in the next little while, or maybe a couple of years, we don't know, but God knows. So in the meantime, we just make this life count, and we continue our relationship with God every day as a loving God who cares about us and who cares about everything in our lives. It reminds me of a song, Shall We Gather at the River? I know many of the Christians who are listening would know that song, but I just thought I'd sing it. Shall we gather at the river, the beautiful river? Gather with the saints at the river, flowing by the throne of God. Shall we gather at the river, where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river, soon our pilgrimage will cease, soon our happy hearts will quiver with the melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Thanks for listening.